Hello everybody. So today we're going to be sitting down with Edward David Jones of omtsystem.org. Basically he's written books, he's taught to schools, and we're killing ourselves off. We're polluting our environment at a rapid rate. He's got an invention that he wants to share with us, and he's going to teach us how to prolong our life, basically. Next on the Small Business Voice. Hello everybody, and thank you for watching The Small Business Voice. The Small Business Voice is a platform for small business owners to have their voice heard. And what will those small business owners ask you to do? They would ask you to be loyal and please buy local. So today we're sitting down with Edward David Jones of omtsystem.org. David, we've sat down and talked for quite a while now. You say that we're killing ourselves off at a rapid rate, and we just don't even know what we're doing right now. So give me a little bit of what your mission is.
Actually, my mission is to bring awareness to the detrimental effect that our waste has upon the earth, our environment, our waters, and eventually our lives. I've been an activist for a long time here, and not really knowing what I was, that I wasn't activist for water conservation. I've invented a number of products that basically gave us the ability to conserve water, reuse water, and in that capacity, I found myself becoming an activist for water conservation. And so recently I received a patent on a product that I developed. It's called the Water Reclamation Canister. What that actually does is we are being trained to basically pollute our environment, to kill ourselves off, because we only have one system of waste collection. Waste considered packaging that when everything we buy comes in a package. Yeah. As soon as we take the product out of that package, we put it in the black liner bag. On top of putting it in the black liner bag, we introduce water into the system, into that black liner bag. The effect of water being a universal solvent, it mixes with everything. It mixes with the pathogens and the carcinogens in our food. Our food has a lot of things that have been okayed by the FDA that are not basically good for us. Yeah. So when we concentrate all those things in the black liner bag, the only method of waste collection that we have, and then we introduce water into that system in the form of coffee, tea, ice, and liquids, that exacerbates the problem of all of these carcinogens and pathogens in our waste cycle getting mixed together. Okay, my emphasis is on our society. We have what we call a sewer system where our liquids are being deposited into. And in our sewer system, all the things that go through our systems, sewer system generally gets cleaned up at our waste facilities. We have waste facilities that clean up most of the matter in our sewer system, but some things get past that, such as the opioid epidemic. We find a lot of things that should be collected out of our water in our oceans. And although our sewer system takes a lot of these impurities out, things are getting past our waste facilities, such as things that are introduced into the black liner bag. We throw a lot of medicines away. We put it in, not necessarily in the toilet, but it gets thrown away into the black liner bag. Once our city municipalities collect all of our generic black liner bags and all of the contents that are in there, they take them to a dump. And in that dump, they're all mixed together. The pathogens and the carcinogens that come out of our collective waste cycle is what's actually poisoning our waterways, our streams, and everything. Your next door neighbor may be a meth cooker or something, and those people will throw everything into the garbage, into the black liner bag. So my focus has been on bringing to awareness a system that allows our waiters and waitresses to collect potable water. gray water. Our restaurants are our default places where we all go to eat our foods. Now we have more and more restaurants. Every corner there's 2 or 3 doors. There's a food place that produces our food and cooks our food and presented it to us. Normally a person will get up and leave a tip. It's almost a law now that we got to tip 20%. So the task of our waiters and waitresses remains undone. They need to be made aware of all of the things that are in our food that are poisoning us.
So you have this invention, and it's supposed to help. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this invention is right now. If we have like a soda, like a Pepsi or a Coke, a soda, and we dump it down the drain, it just goes to one place. It goes into our sewer system, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so with your invention, it would separate the ice and the syrup.
Okay, what the invention actually does, this is a patent product I have, it allows us to recoup ice. Ice is fresh water, actually. So when you go to a restaurant, you're going to see 30 flavors of syrup, and they all contain ice. So after you finish your meal, you get up, there's a little bit of food left, there's some paper and tissues and napkins. That can be contained in, a black liner bag. But when we introduce the cup with the lid and the straw still on it and the ice still in there, that mixes with the paper and it renders it contaminated. The ice melts and everything in there gets automatically contaminated. There's no facility that cleans up our black liner bag. Things that go into our sewer system gets cleaned, but the everyday black liner bag, you may as well take your kitchen window and throw it out because it doesn't go to any type of cleaning facility. It's just introduced into our land by our landfills. Once it rains, the landfills take this stuff out into our waterways, and that's how it gets reintroduced into our bodies. So to think that everything in the black liner bag is cleaned up is a fallacy. There is no municipality that cleans the black liner bag and all of the entities that are in it. So the product is a way of getting users and our waiters the system. We have a system for everything. The system, hot water system, air conditioning system, but there is no system to separate liquids from the rest of the everyday garbage that we create, other than the system that I'm trying to bring to the world's attention. Our antiquated waste collection system, the black liner bag, has been in existence for 90 years. We are taught to use that as the default method of collecting waste. I'm here to say that that is the worst thing that we can do with liquids, introduce them. On a daily basis, we create enough ice to recreate Iceland, and it is immediately introduced into our black liner bag where it mixes with our pathogens and carcinogens in our food, and it's reintroduced into our bodies because it doesn't go to any cleaning mechanisms. If we were able to separate liquids from the rest of the stuff in the black liner bag, we would foster the creation of more recycling entities. The recycling entities, it is not cost effective for them to have to clean the tissue and everything before they recycle it.
So you showed me some videos. So believe it or not, people actually used to buy our garbage, correct?
Yeah, China used to be the leader of buying our stuff. They bought all our wrecks. They created the Toyota, and they came back and taken over American automobile industries. They used to buy all of our garbage. That's why we hadn't really worried about garbage, because we were selling it. But 2 months ago, it was breaking news that China said, hey, our waste is too contaminated even for them to deal with. So that's a bad nomenclature there.
Well, you showed me the video, and it was really interesting because it was right out of the Back of the Future, it looked like, because they had like the same, it looked like the converter on the engine, or that, Christopher Lloyd was putting in garbage and all that. I don't know if anybody, I'm kind of dating myself, but the first Back to the Future at the very end, he's throwing all this garbage in, and it was used for fuel, the influx capacitor or something like that. So I always thought that was like something kind of a mythical, but watching that video you showed me, China actually has a system like that, and it's not for a flying car, but it's for they put the garbage in there.
Okay. What they do is all of our plastic entities, the plastic fork, the spoon, the knife, the saran wrap, they are derived from petroleum-based products. They can be converted back into petroleum-based products by simply warming them up and reconditioning them, either be a park bench, gym shoes, or something like that, some other material. Okay, what China showed me in that video was that they took clean saran wrap, anything that was petroleum-based products, and they put it into a system that warmed it up, and they were converting it back into kerosene, gas, and oil. So they were buying our garbage and using it for these things and making money off of our garbage. But they came to the conclusion that to clean up our garbage is cost prohibitive for them, so they're not cleaning it up anymore, and they are refusing to buy it from us. So that task is going to fall upon us and our cities and municipalities. Already today, Manteca has a new ordinance. They're actually looking, they've been looking in our garbage for a long time. Now they're looking in our garbage to see if we are mixing liquids with the rest of the stuff. They want clean cardboard, clean plastic, clean items, which facilitate recycling. The recycling industries that we have would boom if they were able to not have to clean up all the carcinogens and things that we mix into the garbage. Water being a universal solvent, if it mixes with tin, it's going to corrode. If it mixes with anything, it exacerbates the effect of those carcinogens 10 times, because water just makes it all mix and mess, and it is prohibitive to try to clean up. So my bright idea was to, at the hands of the user, have an alternative system so that we could put liquids that would return into the sewer system where they get a chance to be cleaned up. If you take everything that's in the black liner bag and try to take it to a dump, it spills out, it mixes with everybody else's waste matter. That's you really don't want to know what's in everybody else's garbage. But it is a filthy mess. We have animals like birds that go in here and try to pick and choose out of our garbage, and when they fly away, they'll drop this over onto some lettuce fields, and the next thing we know, we got an Ebola break out here. So our environment is not pristine, and our environment is subject to our waste in a detrimental way.
So we just had a recall on romaine lettuce not too long ago, and from what I hear, it's actually the recall was in California, and that's what I hear. I don't know if that's true, but I should throw out my disclaimer. But I never thought about that, because a seagull could fly into the dump, pick something out as they're flying over. Like a lettuce field, they could drop it in there, and that's how we get the outbreaks.
A lot of things happen.
Okay.
We, in our environment, everything is contagious. Everything is mixed. So you never know where things are coming from.
Yeah, but this you have an invention that's going to separate waters from syrup and separate waters out of the black liner bags. Correct.
Yes.
And so that'll help solve a lot of the problems. So why don't we'll get into that next. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Great.
When it comes to getting your car detailed, it's hard to choose the right place. At Davis Family Shines, we sweat the small stuff, so you don't have to. At DFS, we're fully licensed and insured, guaranteeing your car is in good hands. With over 15 years in professional detailing, you can trust we're experienced and know how to take care of whatever life throws your way. Specializing in automotive restoration, we're offering interior-only details as low as $99 and complete details as low as $199. That's a huge savings. With a variety of packages including headlight restoration and windshield repair, you'll be sure to find a deal to fit your car's needs. Call today to schedule your appointment, 209-495-0525, or go online at modestocardetailing.com. Treat yourself to that new car feeling today.
All right, so we're back with Edward David Jones of ontsystem.org.
Correct.
All right, so let's get into this invention of yours. Well, actually, let's hold off on that for a second. I like to, I want to know a little bit about your background. You've been doing this a long time, right?
Yeah, actually, born in New Orleans, raised in Chicago, left Chicago and came to California in '83. I've been out here since then and love it. The environment's great. My background includes going to Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. I attained a BS degree in physical education and computer science. So coming to Cali, I've been working in the computer industry for the last, I don't want to date myself, for the last 25, 30 years.
Okay.
And as an engineer, quality assurance engineer, so I test for truth. That background has led me toward testing a lot of the things that I've worked on, invented. Anything I work on, I tested for truth. So in that capacity, I first developed a WMS. It was, I target gray water. My systems are gray water systems. Gray water being termed as soon as you open your tap, every ounce of water that comes out of there, if it goes straight down the drain, if you don't touch it, it's called gray water. Mm-hmm. Now, there are many sources of gray water in a restaurant. For example, you've got certain businesses that use ice to cool off the vegetables. You go up to the salad bar and it's full of ice. You've got all of our convenience stores that use ice to cool off the sodas. There's a big tub full of ice and sodas in there. What happens to that water after it's done its purpose of cooling off or whatever, our drinks, our food or whatever? They let it go back into the sewer system. Mm-hmm. I'm developing a system that will accommodate these types of water, gray water, unused water that's not contaminated, to put back into a toilet or lawn application. I mean, whose idea was it to urinate in fresh water? We can use gray water for that task, saving us the input to toilet water and lawn care. That's at least 40 to 50% of most businesses' input, water use. So if we could target gray water into a system, the system that I developed, which has been accepted and patented by the United States government, allows that to happen. When you finish your food at the restaurant, you get up, leave a tip, and you walk away. Mm-hmm. It is the responsibility of the waiter to deal with the after meal. They have not been trained with respect to what to do with our food products. They'll take that little black plastic bin that they use, and they'll take and put the leftover food in there, and then they dump the water in there. At that point, at that instant, they're creating garbage. Mm-hmm. Water can be recycled. Tissue, plastic, knives and forks, they can all be reused. But at that moment when we create garbage, nobody wants to touch it again. So I've come up with systems such as a waste management system where the plastic straw will go into one little chamber, mm-hmm. the lid go into another chamber. The cup would actually be stacked up. The cups come 5 into a box. But if you take 10 cups full of ice and the straw and a lid on it and put it into the waste basket, the basket becomes full. You have to empty the garbage bag. Yeah. So if we eliminate such things as liquids, which weigh more, one ice cube weighs about a stack of tissue in weight. So if you introduce one cup of ice could also almost weigh a pound, close to a pound. And if you add 10, 15 cups into this black liner bag, you just introduced 4 or 5 pounds to the waste cycle there of water, fresh water. There are people in other countries that walk 10 miles for 2 gallons of water. We throw it away every day.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting. So I didn't think about, so right now in California, we have a big water problem. We had a lot of rain a couple of years ago. A lot of it was wasted, wasn't managed. A lot of people are screaming for more dams to be built. And one of the things we're doing, I don't think people are realizing, we're in such a water crisis, but we're actually doing it to ourselves. Okay, exactly. And I never thought about, so the bathrooms have fresh water in there.
Yes.
And there should be recycled water.
That would be a great idea.
That would save, millions of gallons of water, So that's something for people to think about right there. And the other thing too about the black liner bags, like the one thing I was listening about is you said that when you throw, so we have a war on straws too right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ventura County, I think, has banned straws because they say it's going into our oceans. And
Yes.
but the thing we're missing is the straws. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they could be, if they were cleaned, if they weren't contaminated, they could be sold back to China and turned into fuel.
Those are other systems, that OMT system that we're working on. For example, if one straw, it's not worth anything. It's worth about 0.1 cent. But if you get a 55-gallon drum full of these straws, okay, you can put them in a little system that runs hot water through them, cleans them up, and then repackage them and reuse again. We use plastic in our everyday life, at home, plastic cups. Why can't restaurants reuse the plastic instead of designating these as one-use throwawayable items? We have to get rid of that mentality of using once, throwing it away. McDonald's, not just McDonald's, but most of our restaurants, they have to provide us with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These items are not throwaway, one-use items. We have to get out of that mindset. Okay, so if we outfit our restaurants with a waste management system, I'm working on a waste management system as well, where you've got the plastic cups or paper cups being stacked the way they come. You can, one of these little chambers that hold cups can hold up to 100 cups. That's the equivalent of at least 8 black liner bags. So if you got 2 of these chambers, so we can reduce waste by up to 80% with our products. Our waste management center, which allows all straws to be collected instead of being introduced back into our society in the form of garbage. Each restaurant should be able to be outfitted with a waste management system that allows us to collect those items and reuse them.
Have you been to a Starbucks recently?
Yes, I love Starbucks because Starbucks packages up their used product, coffee grinds, and they present it back to the community. I go there and get it because I raise worms on my farm. I feed the coffee grinds to the worms, and then I get the castings from the worms and I sell it. Worm castings are a very valuable product.
Yeah.
So on my farm, there are a lot of organic-based things that we try to do and introduce them to the community. We also take homeschool groups come out and visit us, and we conduct classes and educate them on the anatomy of the plant, the anatomy of the compost pile, all the friendly bugs that crawl on the Earth's surface, the anatomy of the earthworm. The earthworm is the most beneficial insect that God has introduced to the earth. Its output, the castings, the elemental value of earthworms' castings are the essential elements that plants need and thrive on organically.
So going back to the reason why I brought up Starbucks actually was because they actually have a system kind of like that already. If you go to throw something away at Starbucks, they have like a 3-tier garbage can where you have recycle.
Yes.
It was recycle, it was garbage, and there was, I can't remember what the other one was, but so Starbucks has already kind of started on something like this.
Right. There are many facilities that are now paying attention to our waste. You know, they'll put the plastic in one container, the paper in one container, and animal vegetable waste in another container. No one is actually focusing on the water that we throw away. We need a system that allows us to take the leftover coffee, ice, and target that back into the waste system where it can be cleaned up instead of put it into a black liner bag that the garbage trucks come and get, and it mixes with all the rest of the people's collective black liner bag, which are carcinogens, pathogens, and once we mix all of our collective black liner bags, the output is a leach tape that's poisoning the Earth's surface. That is actually what my mission is, to bring awareness to what we throw away and how it is affecting our everyday life. If we can simply eliminate the liquid from the black liner bag, that would be a tremendous boost to the ecology.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and take a small break right now? We'll be right back. We'll hear from more from our sponsors.
Hey, Papa, aren't you supposed to get your taxes done today?
Oh, I ain't got time. I want to watch the game.
Haven't you heard of the Sanders Income Tax Service mobile app that everybody's been talking about? You can get your taxes done now and finish watching your game later.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, by filing right, you get more here at Sanders Income Tax. Look forward to seeing you this year.
All right, we're back with Edward David Jones of omtsystem.org. Took me a few times to get that down, but I finally got that down now. Cool. So we took a break, and then we probably shouldn't have taken a break because you went on a whole other thing about byproducts, and I'm thinking, wow, we need to get this on tape.
Okay.
So tell me, so business owners, they want to make money, and sometimes they jump over dollars to save dimes, and they don't realize what they have. And you said places like Wingstop, KFC, like the chicken places, like they have products, but they're just throwing it away, and they don't realize what they're throwing away. So,
for example, Wingstop, their main byproduct is chicken. Okay, so most of our pet shops, they use packaged, pre-processed food for our animals. And these pre-processed foods have the same effect on animals as they do on our bodies. We're getting overweight. For example, if Wingstop started focusing on their byproduct, which is going to be chicken bones. All right. Of course, if they had a waste management system in there and they're recouping all of their straws, not letting them get back out of the system into the environment, they're recouping all of their animal and vegetable waste in one particular bag, which is the bones. For example, they could take the bones and grind them back up and offer a product, a brown bag, as you will, to their patrons. If patrons knew that Wingstop was bagging up or grinding up the bone marrow, which is a very good product, instead of giving pre-processed food to their animals, they would come back and buy the byproduct of a place like Kentucky Fried and Wingstop. They're just not thinking about it because we've been taught to get it out of the way, sell it to somebody, let somebody else deal with it. Those days are over. Every business, every home is going to be outfitted with waste management centers to deal with the waste that we produce. Our cities and municipalities can't handle the job. I'm talking with a number of experts in the field of landfills, and as I tell them about my book and the mission that we're on, they welcome us in there. They're going to be in an upcoming documentary because they realize that they cannot handle the combinations of things that we are throwing away. That has to be handled at the hand of the user, and that's what we focus on at OMT System, developing systems that facilitate each individual business and person being responsible for the waste that they control. Cities can't handle it anymore.
Well, we're actually, California is a green state. I mean, California is on board with saving the earth. I mean, they're actually, as far as I know, they're the most proactive state trying to change stuff like that. Yeah, we've come a long way. You made people conscious of recycling and different things, or California has. But we're still not doing enough, and we need to do more. We need to be more conscious of what we're doing.
Actually, there are a number of city municipalities that are aware of our aftermeal and the effect that it has on our environment. For example, in Manteca's new laws now, they're actually looking into your garbage, and they're looking for waste liquids, and what they call garbage is the mixing of all of our stuff together. Okay, so if you don't straighten, what Manteca wants is nothing but clean cardboard, clean plastic items, clean things to recycle. They simply want to handle it and channel it off to a recycling center to reprocess that. So the garbage that we create, if you still create garbage in Manteca, they're going to give you a warning, and then they're going to take your garbage can away if you don't check yourself. Okay, so Modesto, Ordinance 3630, fats, oils, and grease can no longer be introduced in food-producing restaurants. They can no longer flush it down the drain because a restaurant daily task is to feed you, take your waste, and flush it down the toilet. There's so many things that are getting down into our sewer system that is no longer conducive. You know, the methane gas that refurbishes down there, you can actually blow up a manhole by dropping a match in the manhole because of the methane gas that we are producing.
Yeah.
Sacramento has ordinances 340. Restaurants that produce over 4 yards of waste have to handle it themselves. So
wow.
The task is monumental, and our cities, what we need is a national attention to this problem, and that's what I'm hoping that will happen from my mission of Make Earth Great Again, by bringing attention to the aftermeal and the detrimental effect that it has upon the earth, our waters, and our oceans, and our streams. We are doing this ourselves.
So you have a system that separates ice separates the ice away from the other product.
Correct.
So and you have a slideshow that kind of explains how that happens.
Correct.
But that would be turned into gray water, correct?
The gray water exists in cups of undrank water that presents at our table. Ice is a form of gray water, and I'm trying to introduce ice as a new resource for gray water. By developing this product, I have a system where the ice is channeled off into filtering systems that allow us to melt the ice and regroup it and pump it into holding tanks and then pump it into the lawn applications. Mm-hmm. That's what the system actually does. By allowing us a different system other than the black liner bag, we have no choice but to create garbage today. Mm-hmm. We need alternatives to creating garbage, which is what my system is. It allows us to throw liquids into one particular section, there's paper here, and the animal vegetable waste into another section. Liquids should not be collected, because basically our liquids are our fresh water that we spend tremendous amount of resources to clean up already, and then we immediately turn it back into garbage, by mixing it in with our garbage. We have to separate liquids from the system.
So this would be a team effort from everybody. So
it's not that terribly difficult.
Yeah.
You think if we act. We've cleaned up things like acid rain in this country by educating our industries as to what's happening with the output from the smokestacks. We can do the same thing by educating our people, which is what I do when I conduct classes. I go into corporate America to such places as Sequest. Sequest's mission, because they're bringing most of the aquatic sea life to us in interactive displays. If we keep polluting the oceans, they're out of business. So they recognize our company, and their missions as the same. So we've partnered up with them as far as getting the message out, and it's a good thing. And they're a very good company to work with, and that's what we're doing.
All right. So Sequest, this is in Folsom, California, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And yeah, you partnered with them now, or have you partnered with them, or you're working with them?
I'm working on trying to get, we've already agreed that we love each other's missions and we speak in the same language.
Yeah.
So in that capacity, we are, working together, and I'm hopeful to get to, they've already suggested they would like me to speak at most of their establishments and get my message out to the people at most of their establishments.
Well, and then you've also been invited to a lot of different schools around Modesto and Turlock.
For example, yes, Cunningham School, we went out there, taught classes out there about the aftermeal, about alternative methods, alternatives to throwing everything away. Mm-hmm. We talked to the kids and said, hey, what can you make with this paper? What can you make with this particular plastic other than condemning it to a garbage pail? And they came up with some fantastic ideas for us. So yeah, we work with school kids, corporate America, trying to get our message out. And this is great to be speaking to you about it here today.
Yeah, well, it's this is a local show, so yeah, we'd like to. Local people, you're a local person, so so we need to start this movement, and to get this going.
This is Make America Great by concentrating on what we do with our leftover foods and throwawayables.
All right.
Single-use items. We're trying to get rid of single-use items from the environment by giving alternative methods to use them. Simply clean them up. Everybody in their own house washes their dishes. We got dishwashers. Why can't our restaurants have dishwashers?
So your system now. I'm learning about this. So like, say if you ran your dishwasher, that water that just cleaned your dishes would probably go to the toilet or go
to the sewer system, right?
Go into the sewer system. Yes. Okay, and then is that gray water that like dishwasher?
Okay, the output of, for example, our washing machines, the contents of our clothes is plastic microfibers. Microfibers are now being found in our crustaceans in the ocean, which means that some kind of way they're getting into our streams. Our dishwashing liquids and the same thing. There's a lot of stuff that comes out of the home that's ending up in streams and in the ocean. So, yes, they are gray water. Anything that comes out of your tap eventually is gray water. But there's a lot of things that we don't use. Okay, for example, you might fill up your tub one day, and then you find out you don't have time to take the bath. What happens to that water? It's gray water. It goes straight down the drain. If you have an alternative to let it go down the drain, when you can use that water and let it flow out into your lawn, if it's not contaminated already, there's no problem with that. That's what we should have. Our plumbing system should incorporate such systems to facilitate unused water. There's no water shortages in this country. There's mass water misuse. Everybody's got a swimming pool, and everybody's we can't really.
It gets hot during the summers,
I'm guilty myself. But the fact is, we are in the future. We're probably going to be allotted a swimming pool full of water for each home. You're going to have to recycle that water and use that water. The system that we have today, open-endedness to our reservoirs, I don't know if that's going to be able to continue because everybody wants a swimming pool.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and take the short break, hear from a word from our sponsors, and then we got some of your books we want to show to you. So, all right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, sir.
At Tiny Tanks Jumpers, we strive to provide you with quality customer service, serving Modesto, Ripon, Ceres, Turlock, Manteca, Lathrop, Weston Ranch, Stockton, Lodi, and Tracy. For more information, please call Nicole at 209-858-8866 or look us up on Yelp.
We're back with Edward David Jones of omtsystem.org. So you've written some books. You're working on documentaries right now, correct?
Yes, exactly. The book is titled The After Meal. I try to talk about everything that's left over from a meal. I call it the after meal and the effect of that this thing has on our environment. I'm coming out with a documentary. I've actually went around and the documentary is on the gift of life. We talk about things that I talk about to kids in schools, the anatomy of the plant, the root system below the ground and all of the parts of the plant above ground, and name them, the function of the plant as it takes carbon out of the air and produces oxygen for us to breathe, the value of such things as the plant, the basis of our life source, food source. We talk about in the book, in the documentary, the importance of all the little friendly insects in the compost pile, their function, what they do, and primarily the anatomy and functioning of the earthworm. Very beneficial insect, gives us castings, and it's an organic fertilizer that we use, that plants need and thrive. The very elements, the macro elements that a plant needs to thrive on comes directly from the earthworm. So we focus on that in the documentary, and we talk about all the beautiful things that Earth has provided for us, and we show that in some capacity, and then we look at the detrimental effect that our garbage is having on Mother Earth. We're introducing disease-causing carcinogens. The FDA has outlawed a lot of things, but there's still a lot of things in our food sources. If you read the label of a candy bar, you probably throw it away. There are certain things that
You read the back of a label and you don't notice it. There's like a lot of words in there. Like what's
Yes.
it? What is that? What does
These
that mean?
things are not man-made.
Yeah.
I mean, not Mother Earth made. They're man-made.
Yeah.
For convenience. And what happens when you mix MSG, food dyes, life-preserving coloring of foods? What happens? These things actually cause disease. And today we have so many. If you ask the question, do you know anybody that has cancer? Everybody's raising their hand.
Yeah.
Because 1 out of 65 kids are being born with autism. These are things that I feel are being introduced into our society by us, simply by adding liquid to the black line bag. If we can eliminate liquids in the mix, we can eliminate a lot of disease-causing entities. We can rejuvenate recycling industry. I'm very positive that this is possible, So we simply have to get the message out on a national basis. That's my mission, to bring awareness to what we're actually doing to ourselves.
So if a public school or private school, for that matter, or government agencies want to get a hold of you, if corporations like Starbucks want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
My web is www.omtsystem.org, omtsystem.org. My phone number would be 209-204-2086. My email address is daveslocker@aol.com. That's DADESLOCKER@aol.com. Those are the primary ways of getting in contact with me.
Okay. That was very informative. I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, I thank you, sir.
I feel that we just covered the surface. We really probably didn't get into a lot of it.
We got to do this again. I studied so much of the stuff I wanted to say.
Hey, you did great.
This was great. I'm very pleased and grateful for you and this opportunity to speak with you and your audience.
Well, my pleasure. I'm glad you came on.
This was great.
Yeah, and like you said, we need to spread the word. And you're in talks with other stations and other companies to do that. And that's
a couple of radio stations are calling up for interviews. So
yes,
we're getting the message out, and the sooner the better.
And you were on a radio station not too long ago.
Stu Taylor.
Yeah,
we did. I'm pretty sure you guys already have the interview with Stu Taylor of Money Matters in LA, and we did a 4-minute interview that was eye-opening and enlightening. So yes, you guys have that as well.
Okay,
hopefully we'll get that on the air too.
Yeah. So if you want to learn more about Edward David Jones, we have his information at the bottom of the screen. And just thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll have you on again because I really enjoyed this, and
I did too. Yeah. And I studied through most of it, so another opportunity to talk to you would be much better.
I think the point of all this is, as adults, I'm in my 40s, but it may not affect us right away, but it's our kids and our grandkids and our generations that we'll have to worry about.
Definitely it's going to be affecting our kids, but it's also affecting us today. When a person is diagnosed with some type of cancer, they immediately change their diet. That changing of the diet to organic or something like that is what's been saving their lives. So just look around.
Yeah, you have a good point there.
Eating those processed foods, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had
you can't get away from it, but
the Dallas Buyers Club. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but that was one where the guy in that one got away from processed foods, and it was all natural.
Every day I hear it time and time again. Going back to organics, the less chemicals in your food, the less chemicals in our waste cycle. It's good.
Well, Mr. Jones, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Quite the pleasure.
Yeah. If you're a small business owner, or if you're an advocate that want to have their voice heard, please give me a call, or actually contact me on my website, newsmallbusinessvoice@gmail.com, or you can reach me at my personal website, www.smallbusinessvoice.biz. It's contagious. I'm blaming that on you. Again, Mr. Jones, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you for watching the Small Business Voice. Join the crusade, buy local, and help our earth. Thank you for watching.